Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Frostbreak, and today we're going to be taking a look at the weapon system in the upcoming MMO, Wayfinder. Before I begin, I should just warn you that everything you see here is subject to change, and although all of this information is pulled off of Wayfinder's official website, Discord, and Reddit, the game is still in early development, which means I'll likely have to update this video sometimes in the future. If that's the case, there'll be a card on screen now, or you can go to the updated version, and I'll only do that if this video becomes really out of date and they do a massive weapon overhaul. But for now, let's begin. Similar to how Destiny or Warframe operates, weapons have an identity in and of themselves in Wayfinder. You might find some that are slightly different with unique modifications, however the core feel of these weapons are always going to be the same. What sets the weapons apart in Wayfinder is that they travel with you. The weapons themselves gain experience, they gain power, and can be further improved the more you use them. You can even prestige your favorite weapons to keep the progression train going for as long as you want to use them. An interesting note is, like Warframe, you will need to craft these weapons. Weapons and gear do not drop from mobs or bosses, rather they give you crafting components that can be used to make the gear of your choice. Additionally, any piece of gear can be equipped by any character within the game, even signature weapons. Signature weapons? What's that? Well, let's talk about it. Signature weapons and normal weapons. In Wayfinder, there are two symbolic tiers of weapons: regular weapons and signature weapons. Signature weapons are essentially just a Wayfinder's preferred item. Either this is bound through lore or just because it synergizes with their kit best. There are currently 6 unique Wayfinders in the game: Wingrave, Silo, Nis, Senja, Kairos, and another Wayfinder coming soon. All of these Wayfinders or characters, whatever word you prefer, have a signature weapon. There is no penalty for equipping signature weapons onto other Wayfinders. However, you may notice Nis's Knight's Edge doesn't necessarily fit the playstyle of Senja or Wingrave, who tank and buff for allies. At the moment, I do not know if the correct pairing of signature weapon plus Wayfinder has a bonus, but the devs have hinted at the idea of proficiencies and that some Wayfinders might be better at using certain gear over others. On the flip side of this segment, let's talk about the regular weapons. Unlike most MMOs, even the regular weapons in Wayfinder are named. There are multiple variants of, say, the two-handed axe, and although they may look similar, they have completely different stats and abilities. One two-handed axe that was shown to us in gameplay is called Bonebreaker. You can see Bonebreaker has a unique ability called Shatter. This ability wouldn't be shared with any other weapon in the game, giving Bonebreaker a unique feel and flavor. Let's run through all the signature weapons we know about at the moment. These weapons again can be used on any character, but are suggested to be best utilized by their respective Wayfinder. Wingrave's signature weapon is Bastion, which is a sword and shield. Bastion's weapon ability is Power Bash, which seems to lead into the tanking and crowd control role. Silo's signature weapon is Longshot, which is a rifle. Longshot's weapon ability is Deadeye, which clearly leans into the long-range marksmanship and DPS role. Nis's signature weapon is Knight's Edge, which are dual daggers. Knight's Edge has the weapon ability Daggerfall, which seems like it excels in AoE and DPS. Senja's signature weapon is the Colossus, which is a massive greatsword. Colossus's weapon ability is Gladiator Slice, which seems to do decent damage quickly in melee range. Finally, we have Kairos' signature weapon, and I hope I pronounced this right, the Epitaph, which is a corrupted scythe. The Epitaph's weapon ability is Arcane Harvest, which looks like a lifesteal AoE ability. You can check out all of the signature weapons and their abilities on the official website for Wayfinder, which I'll make sure to leave a link for down below. While you're in the description, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to stick around and subscribe. I spent almost 20 hours making this video, so any feedback would be greatly appreciated to help me improve. I'm already spending so much time on the videos. If I can make a little tweak to make it more enjoyable, it's worth it for both myself and the viewer. Thank you for your feedback if you choose to leave it, and let's get back to the video. Crafting. As briefly mentioned at the start of this video, all the weapons and gear in this game must be crafted. The weapons themselves do not drop from bosses, rather their components do. You can see in this screenshot here the requirements to build Bonebreaker. I believe the textures are all just temporary for now, so please ignore the crafting components and how they look exactly the same. Again, this is like pre-alpha footage. We can also see from this menu that Bonebreaker is being crafted at a Radiant level. From my understanding, Bonebreaker is a two-handed axe, not a two-handed Radiant axe. This is similar to how the Elder Scrolls Online's crafting system works for weapons and gear. You can make a unique sword with a special ability at any rarity. However, the physical weapon stats change depending on the quality. This looks like it's the same case for Wayfinder. All these ratings on the side would likely be lower if the quality of Bonebreaker was worse. There are currently 5 types of weapons in Wayfinder: rifles, swords and shields, dual-wield daggers, and two-handed weapons like the greatsword, axes, or maces. They are also adding in bows according to the Discord, and we'll be able to see some gameplay of that soon on their Twitter. Using weapons. I've already mentioned a couple times that anyone can equip anything, but the developers really want to nail this customization system home. What we know from developer input is that weapons will operate the same in any Wayfinder's hands. This means the basic attack animations will be identical regardless of the character it's being used on. At the moment, attack animations are bound to the weapon rather than the actual character, meaning that whether you play as a super heavy tank or a super light assassin, you will still be wielding the greatsword in the same way, which could aesthetically rub some players the wrong way. I personally use the greatsword on New World and enjoy the comically large sword on the comically small character, but that's just me. Weapon diversity. Wayfinder isn't like the typical MMO where there could be an infinite amount of variation on the same weapon. In Destiny or New World, you can loot the same weapon over and over and over again, and it might always pop up with new traits or abilities. In Wayfinder, there is not an infinite amount of variability, there is just a powerful and consistent handful. Let me try to explain that a bit better. Say you really want to use a sword and shield on your Wayfinder. Let's say right now there are 6 swords and shields that you can craft that all have different stats and abilities. I just made up the number 6, by the way. There could be 3, there could be 12, I don't know. This is just a hypothetical to help explain the diversity system of the weapons. So say there's 6 different swords and shields in Wayfinder. All of them will have different abilities, and all of them will have a range of rarity they can be crafted in. Common is likely the lowest, and Radiant is either the highest or second highest quality. We don't really know the colors or the names of the rarity system quite yet, so this is a little speculative. What we do know is all of the swords and shields are names. You would never say, oh, I use the sword and shield. You would say, oh, I use Frostbreak, or oh, I use Bastion. Speaking of, one of the swords and shields is Bastion, which we've gone over before and is a signature weapon for Wingrave. Another sword and shield is unnamed, but we do know its ability. This unnamed sword and shield has the ability to shield the entire team on toggle. To my understanding, this is not a passive ability like Bastion, it's an action ability that you can use when needed. We also have been hinted from the staff that one of the swords and shields is a DPS set, meaning it likely has some cool backstab or offensive ability. Just because it's a sword and shield doesn't mean Wayfinder is going to stereotypically make all the items for tanks or supports. It seems like we're going to have a good amount of versatility between all the weapons in the same subtype. Airship member Madsen, hopefully I said that right, describes the weapons in Wayfinder like this. Weapons are kind of like characters in that they also level up and gain power through leveling. They each come with a unique ability not found on any other weapon. Think of an active ability on a Destiny exotic. With that, I hope you can now see that even though Wayfinder doesn't follow a typical MMO with random traits on weapons to give unlimited variation, Wayfinder has a much more consistent system that provides a lot of weapon diversity across all playable characters. Fashion. I know this is a big category for a lot of people, so you'll be happy to know that weapons have their own customization options. We don't know yet if you can craft the weapons in specific styles like you can in the Elder Scrolls Online, where you can basically pre-transmog the weapons before you craft it, but there's going to be some kind of system where you can customize the look and feel of your weapons either with transmog, dyes, or even weapon charms, which have been hinted at through the Discord. If you'd like to know more about the actual characters of Wayfinder, please check out this video on screen now. As far as the weapons go, that's literally all the information I have squeezed into one video. Wayfinder has an incredibly unique system for weapons, which isn't like any other MMO I've played. All the information gathered in this video is authentic and taken straight from their official website or from comments directly from their staff. I've been Frostbreak, thank you so much for watching, and make sure to stick around and subscribe for more Wayfinder content.